Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. I think we are on the 16th session of the AI Agile Synergy, if not more. So, and we'll continue. Like there had been some disruptions in between because of Agile Kolkata and the Durga Puja break. But as we have been running this for the last 5 months, we'll continue to do so, right? That is our objective, right? To learn and share from each other. Now, to share and learn. Now, the point, why we are here today, let me just give you a little bit of context. In today's rapidly evolving world, right, agile thinking and the AI-driven transformations are reshaping how teams are going to, right, work, adapt, and innovate. Now, amid all these kind of speed, one essential, right, yet often overlooked terminology is called the mindful reflection. Now, we all have been hearing a lot, and we all have been practicing for the last 25 years since Agile Manifesto was published, one very important thing called retrospective. Now, I can tell you from my past experience, right? I have seen that it is very powerful, but yet it is very, very underrated, right? Like in any of if you go for coaching to any of these agile teams, people are considering that as a checklist, and really that is not giving us a good outcome because it is not done in a proper way. But if it is done in a proper way, it can really give you a lot of benefits out of it. Now, I'm not saying like mindful reflection or and retrospectives are saying, and we would like to hear more from right our speaker today, right, on that part. But the point is, how is it going to help us to pause, right, observe, and then then learn intentionally, right, from the experience that is going to be our motto. Now, this conversation, right, that we are going to have today will explore how mindful reflection can become a catalyst for our continuous improvement, self-awareness, and sustainable agility, not just for the team in every layer, whether it is a product management layer, whether it is a business agility layer, right, whether it is a leadership layer, executive layer, everywhere now this is becoming a very, very common practice. Some way or other, everyone is doing some bit of retrospection. So how mindful reflection can enhance this kind of retrospection, right? That is something what we are going to learn from right now Varun today. So without further delay, let me introduce our speaker today, who is Navarun Mukherjee, right? He's a agile coach and a certified Scrum Master and product owner with over 20 plus years in the software development, project delivery, and agile transformation. He has also worked as an independent agile consultant, helping companies build high-performing, self-organizing team. He was a founder of startup and he continued with that journey for more than 10 years, right? And now currently working as an agile consultant at Intelligent Revenue. He shares real world learning on agile and continuous involvement in LinkedIn articles and the blogs. Outside work, he's a movie buff, right? Movie enthusiast, tracker, and a music creator. So definitely like he's wearing different hats, right? Apart from his core agile consultant role. Now, in this fireside chat conversation, right, we are going to touch upon different area, right, of the focus. So let us start the session with setting the tone in the right manner. Now, Novarun, like many organizations are chasing agility and AI adoption at the high speed. Now, at one side, like we are seeing the agility is getting matured, and people have a kind of mindset that they do not need any further. Yes, Petam, thanks for joining. So yeah, they are seeing that agility is kind of getting matured, and people are saying agility is kind of dying out. But some people are also saying that agility and AI can bring a new flavor of right agility, which is called agility 2.0. Sorry, 3.0. Now, what we call it as a agility 3.0, like when Agile started as a team level agility, that is something we call it as an agility 1.0. That's a perspective. I'm not saying it's a terminology I'm coining out here, but agility 1.0 is where we were mostly focusing on the team level agility, and then came agility 2.0, where we moved out of that boundary of team, and then we right jumped into the business agility of the organization or enterprise agility, which is agility 2.0. Now the time has come, right, where we need to start rethinking about how agile can transform or evolve within this disruptive right area, which is called kind of agility 3.0. So my question to you first, right? How do you see a mindful reflection fitting into this fast-paced, AI accelerated business environment, right? Is it a pause, break, or a hidden accelerator? Over to you.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, good morning and Shubha Vijaya to all of you. And thank you, Shubhada, for the wonderful introduction. So before coming to your question, first, let me tell you what does mindful reflection word means. So it's actually, there is a famous proverb in Bengali that is called Bhabiya koriyo kaj koriya bhabiyo na. That means whenever you are going to perform any action, just spend some time on thinking whether we are aligned with the value that we are trying to achieve in that action. So that moment is called a mindful reflection. Now, coming to your question, so I would say it's more like a navigation map, neither accelerator nor brake. It's like a navigation map. It constantly reminds you your destination and suggests the best route along the way. And if you keep accelerating without reflection, what happens? You might reach somewhere faster, but necessarily where you don't intend it to be. Take an example, the last scene of Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. So Shah Rukh's train is leaving from platform number 2, and as soon as Bauji said, Ja Simran Ja, she's without thinking anything, blindly started running on platform number 1. So what happened? No matter how fast she runs, she will never be able to jile apni zindagi. So that's why mindful reflection matters. It aligns your direction with your purpose and helping you to move smart, not just fast.
Wonderful. Now, that's a great anecdote to that and great example that you've shared, right? So, and we see this type of mindful reflection of, right? First you think and then you deliver, right? So
Exactly.
that is something which is very, very important because and that is exactly some opposite thing that we keep doing, right? Without even thinking, we start delivering and we often, right, make a lot of mistakes, right?
Yes.
So that is why, like, it is always better to first think, come up with your plan, and then you deliver. Go ahead. Fantastic. Now, if I come to a little bit of a definition point of view, like you have given a little bit of context towards the mindful reflection, but if I come to a little bit of formal definition point of view, that typically mindfulness and reflection, if I break this mindful reflection into two phrases, right? Mindfulness and the reflection are often treated as soft skill, yet they have a deep operational value in the agile culture, right? Because you have to be thoughtful, thought-provoking, like everything that you do should be kind of thought-provoking for you. At the same time, every time, like after every sprint, we should reflect back, okay, how we have done this, right? What are the mistakes that we make and how we want to get better. Now, from this context, my question would be to you now, Varun. How would you define mindful reflection in the context of agile growth? Like we understood the overall generic definition of a mindful reflection, but if I try to put that in an agile context, how would you like to define the mindful reflection? What makes it and which is more familiar with us? Because is it just a kind of different vocabulary that we are using just to move away from conventional retrospective term, or is it really something different?
See, Agile is all about inspection and adaptation. And we do this exercise, the more frequently we do this exercise, the more value focused we become.
Mm-hmm.
And what is a sprint retrospective? In sprint retrospective is a scheduled event where the team looks back what went well, what went wrong, and what would be the action item after the sprint, when the sprint is over. But my take on mindful reflection goes one step deeper. Like if it helps you to validate your assumption in each action and ensures, it ensures you that you are moving on towards the right outcome that truly matters to the end user. So before each action, if you continuously validating your assumption in Agile, there is a famous say like everything as an assumption until and unless it is validated by the customer.
Correct.
So if we do this practice continuously in our work, like in development, in testing, whatever we are doing to build that product. So if my mindful reflection, my take is continuously validating that assumption in each of the action that we are taking. So if a retrospective helps you to, I'm giving you the same car example. So if a retrospective helps you to fix the car after a trip, then mindful reflection helps you to notice the bumps on the road and checks the fuel and how the well-being of your co-passenger. All these things helps you. I mean, mindful reflection helps you to achieve all these things. That is my take on mindful reflection.
Excellent, excellent. Now, let me bring a different context here, which is called a famous egg and chicken story called doing agile versus being agile. Right. So when I started my transformation career, like I started my agile journey around 2009 when I was working with IBM. But when I actually led a bigger transformation for the IBM CIO office, right around 2014 time, fortunately, we got to meet our CIO, Jeff Smith, who was sitting in kind of US. So we were all going there. And then he brought up that first, I heard about that phrase for the first time, doing agile versus being agile. Now, because after 1 year of transformation, my question to him, every coaches were given an opportunity to ask him a question. And I asked a question. So, Jeff, we did a wonderful transformation last year for the CIE organization. What is next for us? Then he said, Shubha, have you heard about this phrase called doing agile versus being agile? I said, no, I have not heard about it, but I can understand. Doing agile means it's all about execution, and being agile is believing it from the core, right? So that people should not tell you what to do. You should realize that what is the benefit, and you start believing it from your core, and then you start practicing it. Then he asked the question, okay, what do you think what we have done in the last year? That I said, no, we just did the execution. I said, now this year our job is to make them feel more comfortable on the being agile. Because there is a famous misconception in people's mind, agile is all about mindset change, culture change, etc., etc. So ideally, the being agile should come first and then the being agile. But is it really right easy to change the culture, change the mindset, right, before we go to the execution? Not possible. Because there is a famous phrase again from SAFe called culture change comes last, not first, right? So ideally, you should start with the doing agile, and then eventually people will start realizing why are they doing it, right? And then you need not to tell them to do, right? They will realize, and that is the major turning point when people will be driven towards the right their transformation. So
Right.
from that context, now Varun, many teams do agile through rituals. Exactly my point, through rituals and the ceremonies, but very few truly live agility, believe on agility, right? That agility from the core, agility from the heart. So, my question to you is, in your experience, how does practicing mindfulness and reflection help the teams become agile than just doing agile?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I have also faced a similar kind of expression. Like the people are doing ceremonies or events and call that agile. So doing ceremonies doesn't automatically make a team agile. Uh, so first of all, agile. So I'm not going to the theory part of agile, like four values and 12 principle, all these things. But what I think the final outcome of agile should be consistently delivering meaningful values. That should be the outcome through practicing agile. So all the events, tools, ceremonies, framework are just enablers to help you achieve a meaningful outcome and consistent delivery. So if you think attending ceremonies makes you agile, you might be living in an agile delusion. If you, don't giving a valuable outcome to your customer, then attending those ceremonies and events doesn't make you agile. So reflection, what reflection does, reflection shift the focus from doing
Just
agile
keep
to being agile.
yeah. Monitoring
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
landscape.
Yeah, are you saying something, Rula? Yeah, I just muted you. Yeah, please
Okay.
go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So reflection, what reflection does? Reflection shift your focus from doing agile to being agile. What actually we are trying to achieve? What value we are trying to achieve? Are we validating the assumption? Are we addressing the pain points? Are we delivering the real values? Are we solving the right problems? Are we helping the customers? All these things. So a mindful reflection always continuously keeps you on track on this ground.
Absolutely.
And that mindset makes you true agile. Even without, so even with the, even if you don't follow any framework, you are don't, you are not attending, you are not doing any events or ceremonies. If you practice this thing in your work, you are agile. You don't need to be associated with any framework. So that's my take on mindful reflection on agile.
Excellent, excellent. Now let's bring a little bit of right AI flavor into it, like an AI paradox, I would say. Now, AI tools promise speed, prediction, right, and automation, right? So we all know that like we would like to be more predictive here, right, than deterministic, right? But they can also make, right, us reactive and less reflective because the typical human nature, like as we have been talking about, typical soft skills and other things, the human nature, the cognitive things and other things are kind of, I would say, overshadowed by those algorithms, by data, etc., etc. So really, they don't have that kind of mindfulness, or I would say the softer part of our thought process, right? Those are not there in the kind of AI. That's what we think about. So from that perspective, now that AI is becoming again our companion, our part of the journey, the teams are also told not also only to follow agile practices, but also to try to adopt AI, try to use Copilot, right? See how can you, right, use them, etc., etc. They are kind of even becoming or taking the help of AI tools everywhere, right? AI agents and every tools everywhere. So my question is, how can the team balance, right, the speed of AI with the depth of mindful reflection, because both are needed, and we had a lot of discussions around that. That no, not only AI can help, again, not only depth, right, of mindful reflection can help. Both are required. So it's a mutual coexistence. So how can the team balance the speed of AI with the depth of mindful reflection to ensure the growth remains human centric and adaptive?
Yeah. See, what AI can do. AI can quickly analyze and process massive amount of data, and it gives you the result based on some pattern and some past data. Team can use this speed as an advantage by letting AI handle the repetitive and heavy duty tasks.
Right.
Obviously, we can do that. So in these days, if we are doing the repetitive task by ourselves, by creating the same lines of code again and again, then we are living in a fool's world. So we have to take advantage of that part of AI. And that freeing up human time to focus on deeper thinking and empathy-driven decision. Because AI cannot take empathy-driven decision. AI can
Correct.
take the data based on some pattern, historical data, they can do the repetitive work, they can solve you some complex problem. But where the empathy-driven decision, the emotion takes place, AI cannot do that. So this hybrid approach, so I think this hybrid approach is the key for the, future workplace where human and AI works together. So let me tell you an example. So in earlier days, I write to user stories like as a user like that, and acceptance criteria point by point, typing all these things. So what I do? So in Jira, we have some, they have updated some AI-enabled feature in Jira. So I write just the gist, what I want this feature to be. And ask Jira to format an acceptance criteria and user story based on that. But what mindful reflection does, it helps me to see whether those are aligned with the value.
Correct.
And format or edit that acceptance criteria as per my customer's need. So that is how AI can do. So it's not AI versus us. So for my point of view, it's AI plus us, which makes us more future-centric.
Exactly. In fact, like that reminds me, like the way I use the transcript, or anyone for that matter use the transcript. Now you will see a funny result, like if you try to give the transcript to the AI and tell that, okay, give me a synopsis. And if you just blindly copy paste without reading it, you will see a lot of important points are missed out. Right. And that is where the mindful reflection comes into picture. Okay, it is giving me a synopsis. In fact, like the today's discussion also, like it is transcripted. But when I form a LinkedIn article out of it, it's not that I'm blindly copying and pasting. I have to go through that transcript, that what AI is generating for me many times, because I was present in the discussion. I know what all things have been talked about. So I can easily find out what all things are missed out, right, in the discussion. And then I can again write a prompt. Okay, can you just tell me what Nobarun talked about, right? This Dilwale Dulhaliya Le Jayenge anecdote. Then it will bring that, otherwise it will skip that, right? So it is very important that not only trust AI just as a tool, but also give your thought process. So your value, right, is not going to go away, right? In a simple term.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Right. Now the next point is, right, building reflective habit in the, just a minute, being reflective habit in the, right, in the team. Just one sec. Yeah. So the agile retrospective, sometimes I told you, right? Agile retrospective is mostly very underrated, right? Mostly very underrated. And people are sometimes just doing it as a ritual, right? Just as a ritual that I have to do certain checklist things. Otherwise, my coach will tell me that why are you not doing it? I'm doing it. But is it really giving us any benefit? Most of the time I'm seeing it is just becoming mechanical. Same thing is getting repeated and never actioned on those action items. Because when I take the safe classes, I always ask this question: how many of you have seen when the retrospective is conducted, the Scrum Master is going through the previous retro action items? Right? Otherwise, there is no value. If I don't get to work on those action items, don't right, never actioned on those things, there is no value.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, now, Varun, what are some practical ways to make reflection a living culture within the agile team and not just a calendar event, not just as a ritual?
Yeah. So, what are the roles in a typical agile team? There is an agile coach or scrum master who keeps on reminding us the agile value. How can we achieve the agile value in our work? A developer who develops the code. So taking the example of a development scenario, software development. A developer who writes the code, a quality tester who tests the quality aspect and security aspect of the increment, and a business owner who is the custodian of the business value of that product.
Mm-hmm.
So how mindful reflection can help each of this role? Like in our organization, what we do, we have a habit of mid-sprint checking.
Oh,
like
wow.
Depending on the final sprint review,
Mm-hmm.
we typically have a 1 month sprint. So in every week we do some mid-sprint checking,
Mm-hmm.
like how much we have achieved towards the value that we have taken for this sprint.
Correct.
So we have so mindful reflection help us. That is a mindful reflection. The mid-sprint checking. Like if you continuously check in how far you are going to achieve the value that you have considered for this sprint, that is one habit that Scrum Master or the Agile coach can do in a team. What developer can do, they can take a pause before committing any code. Like, is my code scalable, maintainable, secured? All these things they can achieve through a mindful reflection. And testers can see some real world customer problem before writing blindly the test case scenarios. They can actually, if they took a pause and they give a mindful reflection, they can think of some other edge case scenarios that might help the customer to solve their actual problems. And what business owners can do, business owners see the priority of any backlog item. It is not necessary to be the same as it was yesterday.
Correct.
So it keeps on changing, and the evolvement of this AI tools and AI things around the world, the change become more fast. So what business owner can do, the product owner can continuously take a pause and think whether the priority is still the same.
Correct.
For my backlog items, and according to that, he keep changes his priority and the product backlog item. So these are some benefits of mindful reflection that can help agile team to become more productive.
Excellent.
And we all do these things in our organization as well.
Right. So I like the way, like we call it as a typically an interim demo, or maybe what you say mid-sprint demo.
Yeah.
That is helping us to check that whether we are going into the right direction, or if it is not, then probably we can pivot and come back to that track. Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now, Agile is also very famous for another phrase, right, which is called fail fast and quick course correction. So typically we do it we try to do, right, ideally it is intended for taking a lesson from the mistake and try to get ourselves corrected. Now, point is, a reflection is often triggered by the mistakes or the missed outcome. Is it always necessary that we should make a mistake and then we do the reflection? Or it can be a kind of overall improvement lever accelerator for us? So my question, if I try to put that thought into a question, how can organization create a psychological safety where reflection on a failure becomes a shared growth experience rather than a blame exercise?
Yeah. So as you said the phrase, so we call it fail fast, learn faster.
Correct.
So, yeah, we typically say this phrase in our course of action.
Uh-huh.
So leaders can play a vital role by, in this regard, like responding to mistakes with curiosity, not blame.
Correct.
Asking what can we learn instead of who is at fault. Organization can create a psychological safety by building a culture of trust, openness, and respect, where people can feel safe to speak without any, if they can speak freely without of fearing any punishment or any action, they can speak freely, and the problems will get sorted out much easily in that scenario. So, but there is another flip side to it. So if the same mistake keeps coming sprint after sprint after sprint, then there is a serious problem of retrospection. We need to check on that. But yes, the culture of openness and trust should be there within the organization, so that we can learn from our mistake and
Wonderful.
and apply it in the next sprint, so that the next mistake cannot happen sprint after sprint.
Right. Now let me give you a very practical situation now around of retrospective. Now let's say there is a sprint. The sprint was not successful. We have got a lot of spillover. Correct. Now there is a developer, right? One developer who has got 5 stories, right? Completed all of them on time, and all the stories are accepted by the product owner. So from his perspective, it is fantastic sprint for him or her, right? Now, when it comes to the retrospective and people ask question, Scrum Master asks question, what went well, what did not go well, what can we do better? Now, it is theoretically always saying, we are saying that we should think about the team before individual, but in reality, we are all human beings, right? Who should I think of first? I should think about my part first. I forget about what team did. And to be very honest, right, we tell a lot of things on theory, but in real life situation, hardly any team member in a team know exactly what team did. Everyone is pretty good aware of like what is my accomplishment, but very few of them are right too much focused towards the overall team result, unless the Scrum Master specifically tells about that. And they tell about when the question was asked, like what went well, what did not go well, what can we do better next time. They tell about from their perspective, they try to give the answer, but that's not the right thing. So from that perspective, my question is, how can organization balance individual mindfulness? Because that is my deed, like I cannot avoid that, right? But how can we balance the individual mindfulness and the team reflection? But at the same time, I also need to see how as a team we can get better. I did well, but my doing well is not going to help the team, right? I need my team to do well as well. So how can we balance these two?
Yeah, so I have faced similar kind of situation. Like I have done my part, I have completed
Exactly.
this, yeah. But the ultimate result is the sprint fails. We didn't achieve the value what we have set for this sprint. So actually mindfulness can help you in this regard. Like mindfulness helps you to think of the team. What is my sprint goal? And it keeps you, team centric, keeps you take team centric decision. Like what decision, doesn't end on completing my work. So what is our value? That is our primary focus. And there is a wonderful thing in Agile that there is no hierarchy.
Correct.
So nobody is reporting to anyone. We are all reporting to the end customer at the sprint review. So we didn't report anyone, and our individual speed doesn't matter. If the sprint fails, the team is responsible. If the sprint is a success, that is a team success, not an individual success. So like, an organization can give space for both. At an individual level, if they give space for an individual to take some pause and take some breath within the work, then the culture will improve. As well as in the team level, if they foster the culture of openness, that the team can reflect their findings and problems, what they have faced, they can discuss it openly, then the learning becomes the natural part of the culture of that organization. And it will hugely help by resolving such kind of situation that I have done my work, but the sprint fails. It will make you more team-centric decision making.
Very good. Very good. Now, again, a very, very interesting context I would like to give to you, Navarun, that so whenever the project managers are measured, right, they can justify their success with a lot of numbers. They are full with number. Their life is full with numbers. But whenever we are going to measure an agile coach's success, it is very difficult to relate their accomplishment to revenue.
Right.
Right. So, and many times the manager, the supervisors are also feeling, okay, tell me what is the tangible number? Like, how can I measure your success? Right. And they are failing. They're always telling, I may not be having any direct contribution to revenue, but my involvement, my recommendation help them to achieve certain numbers, which is contributing to the revenue, indirect contribution. So reflection benefits are often very hard to quantify, like exactly the point I said, especially in a metrics-driven organization, because everyone is looking after number, everyone, right? They will not, oh, agile coaches, they will only talk, and they will never be able to translate that talking into the number, right? So, and that is where the consultants are very difficult to, right, measure. So my question is, how can we measure or demonstrate the tangible impact of the mindful reflection on agile performance and innovation?
Yeah, so I'll continue with the previous questions, like where it ends. When you see your team talking openly, listen respectfully, and handling conflicts with care, that's your metrics. So you cannot
But
quantify.
will my supervisor understand that I'm creating that culture?
So that will reflect in the productivity. In the if they can compare before and after scenario, that the team is continuously arguing each other for a complex problem by delegating the responsibility, like it's not my responsibility, it's your responsibility. These are the typical scenarios, like tester didn't test it well. So those kind of situation happens before organization shifts to the agile mindset. So if agile mindset is truly implemented in an organization, these things get resolved. And you can see an open culture, like people are handling conflict with care and talks openly, listen respectfully, and that ultimately contributes to your productivity. So the positive effect go far beyond than a single project. They help team to perform better over the time and reduce burnout. That is another tangible output. And create an environment where, create such an environment where ideas naturally flourish. So if this situation can be seen in an organization, that is your metrics. Like that is your success as an agile coach.
Excellent, excellent. That reminds me of my funny story, which I cannot resist to share with all of you. So I have been coaching a team for the last 3 months of time. And it's now, as you know, like it's a series of improvement, right? You cannot just show an improvement overnight, right? It has been a series of recommendation, continuous discussion, etc., etc. But for the last 2 iteration or 2 sprints, we are seeing a significant increase in the number. And people who are believing on Agile, in one of the leadership governance call, people who are believing on Agile, they were understanding it's a continuous process. Now there is a manager who was never part of it, never joining that call. He joined on that day. And now we are almost in the UAT phase where we are getting a lot of defects, etc., etc. So all of a sudden, the throughput shoot up, right? And he asked a question. Team, can you tell me that how much contribution Shubho is having on this throughput improvement, or is it a natural course of execution because of the pressure in the UAT phase? Then fortunately, one of the customer responded that Mr. X, you did not join the earlier calls. You did not see the impact of his coaching, right? What took place sequentially sprint after sprint. So it is not a magic that happened on the sprint 16. It has been a continuous improvement, and now that is kind of maybe the turning point has come that it has shoot up. It's a continuous process. So I fully agree with you that sometimes it is really very difficult to help them understand those who are not coming from that background. They are typically having, I'm not blaming them. That is how they are measuring and they are being measured. So numbers is the only thing that they have in their mind. But as you rightly said, that how are you creating that openness? How are you creating the transparency? How the team members are adopting the psychological safety? These are having an indirect impact to the number, right, or the result, right? Unfortunately, right, that was not there. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, next point is overcoming resistance. So some teams or leaders see reflection as a soft or a time-wasting activity. What is the point? The same comments coming up time after time. Are we really taking any actions on them, or you are just again something related to your right checklist kind of item? So how can you convince the skeptics of the business value of mindful reflection, especially in a tech-driven or outcome-obsessed culture?
Yeah. So you have probably seen the classic signboard in Kolkata roads where constructions are going on, that today's pain, tomorrow's gain.
Right.
So similarly, mindful reflection works the same way. Like a few thoughtful minutes today can save you from a costly mistake tomorrow. Like it's better to spend a few extra minutes on testing rather spending the whole weekend to fix the production issues. And reflection doesn't, it might feel slow, but in a fast-paced world, but skipping it can cost you cost you a costly mistake, like in the sprint coming after. So if you, remember the famous shot from Three Idiots, like Chatur is delivering the speech in a college ceremony without checking the script. He delivered it confidently, but you know the outcome, what happens.
Right.
So that makes you, it helps you to align with the outcome that you are going to perform by mindfulness. So that is the way of convincing the, business owners and top management. Like if you practice this thing, then it will help you to save much more costlier defect that may come in future. Yeah.
Right.
So
with your permission, let me add that phrase, right, from the Three Idiots. कामयाबी के पीछे मत भागो, काबिलियत काबिल बनो, right? काबिलियत ही के पीछे भी भागो, कामयाबी छट मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी. Right. Now, next point and the last for today is AI as a reflection partner, right? So how can we embrace AI, right, so that our reflection can become more effective? So emerging AI tools can now facilitate journaling, retrospective, and even emotional analysis, right? So from your experience, do you envision a future where AI becomes a reflection companion, helping humans understand themselves and their teams better?
yeah, why not? If AI can track our sleep, our step count, then in a future, our heartbeat as well. So it can someday help us to track our mindset too. I think so. And imagine AI saying that, hey, you seem a bit off in the retro. Want me to reflect on that?
Correct.
So I can see this coming. It will be a great help. But again, the reflection must remain to the human. Only human can truly understand the emotion with empathy. So, for example, someone might be off due to some recent heartbreak or feel distressed due to that. So, if you ask only AI to handle that, it might say that, hey, you seem a bit off and distressed. Why don't you try some steroids?
Correct.
So, AI can suggest you that. So, yes, AI can support reflection, but only human can make it more meaningful.
Right. it can give you the analysis of the sentiment analysis, which
Exactly.
we used to call it as a kind of mood marble and other thing. But ultimately, it is the human who
The
should
action
intervene.
should be taken by the human.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
because that needs empathy and emotion.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Now, Varun. That brings us to the right end of the discussion. So before I give my closing remarks to the session, like anyone has any question for Varun?
Hi, Shubhabrato. I actually have a question.
Please.
That is, it is kind of a burning question because in everyday life we kind of face it, that though we have Scrum planned everything, but how important it is to get the customers' opinion, customers reviewed in every sprint. Suppose there is a in a project there is a sprint for every week. Okay, so within a week, not probably not in every week, a lot of accomplishments have been made. So, if I ask for clients' opinion every sprint, not in every week I have a legitimate thing to showcase, right? So how, I mean, is it a setback for the customer, or whatever it is, we should get customers opinion every week?
Uh, yeah, so that is the most important thing, to address the customer issue. And I mean, are you doing as a product owner? What is your role in the team?
Scrum master.
Scrum Master. So if the customer's problem, customer's need are not getting addressed in your sprint work, then product owner is not doing his part correctly. So it's the product owner's duty to bring the customer's problem, because what we are trying to achieve, we are trying to solve, our main focus by doing product development is to address the customer's problem, their real pain points. So if we ignore customers' feedback, then the sprint is not going in the right direction. So in every sprint, while sprint planning, there should be a sprint goal that address the customer problem. I mean, apart from the sprint goal, developing new features, those customers' feedback, continuous feedback should be addressed along with the sprint goal item. So what we do in our organization, we keep a mix of backlog items while doing the sprint planning. So 60% work is developing a new feature, and 40% we are working on the customer feedback that we have got in the last sprint. So like this, we address customer feedbacks in each and every sprint, so that the customer feels safe and they think that, okay, our problem is getting solved by this product. So this is our approach. We do that.
And most importantly, their feedback is important for you, right?
Yeah.
That you are valuing them. Yes.
You are developing product for them.
Correct.
Their problem. So that is a huge important thing.
Yeah. Anyone has any other question?
Yeah, I have one question.
Go ahead. Meghna,
yeah,
can you just adjust your camera a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, perfect.
So my question is, like if I look at mindful retrospectives, which is our topic, these mindful retrospectives, they rely on psychological safety and kind of emotional awareness amongst the participants, right? So now how can AI tools be used to enhance rather than replace that human mindfulness in the team reflections? Or is there any evidence of people already using it? Do you have any suggestions? Do you have anything which can add to kind of tool sets which we can use?
I haven't came across such tool so far, but yes, I can see it will be coming in near future. Like AI can read based on our expression and our way of talking, our behavior. They can predict our mindset, and they can suggest something that is not right with me or some other team member. So I haven't find such tool, but I'm pretty sure that the tool will come soon in future.
Okay, thank you.
Shubhoda, you are on mute.
Shubhoda, you're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah. So you must have heard about something called Miro, right? So there are quite a few tools coming up, like as he said, like Miro, Team Retro, right? Colabi and the Retro. So these are some of the tools. Like we have not used them because we wanted to have the license, etc., in our organization. But these are, as he rightly mentioned, these are some of the tools which are coming up. So which can do a right blending, right, of your transcript analysis, right? They can analyze your voice quality, they can analyze your sentiment, etc., whenever you're speaking, and can understand your mood, and accordingly it can give you some suggestion. So definitely, Meghna, like in the coming days we will be seeing a mix of human, I mean, maybe we'll be facilitating, but AI can give you some I would say suggestions, right, on to take some action on these team member, because they can easily, from your voice quality, from your tone, from your facial expression, right, it can understand, it can it can give you some analysis that, okay, this guy may be having some trouble, just go ahead, spend some time and try to get get it sorted, something like that. But those are, I would say, those are still in the experimentation phase, in the very early phase, but we are not yet matured over there.
Okay.
In some of the tools, if you can see that maybe in note taker or somewhere I have seen, they give confidence score. So based on your conversation, they give the confidence score, that how much confident you are in that conversation. So like that in future, maybe
Correct.
Pritam,
you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shubhodaya, I have recently experienced a couple of things. First of all, Zoom and Read.ai,
Right.
they are giving transcripts, so it makes it all transparent.
Correct.
So we don't have to wait for minutes for say 40 to 72 hours recalling on our own memory or relying on our
Absolutely.
memory. And on top of it, I have also experienced in Udemy and LinkedIn, they are also coming in with the role play features in which,
Okay.
say, for example, I'm talking to you, probably certain things may not be conveyed rightly to you, or the conversation may not have gone in the right direction.
Mhm.
So I can also have a kind of rehearsals before coming to you, where the AI does a role play, how I should talk to a manager, how should I talk to a team. And that way my conversations are also well versed, so that I mean I use the right terminologies, right tone, and the objective is to have a right retrospective without having the, I mean, targeting persons per se, but the roles that we are offering. Yeah.
Right. And just to add to that, Meghna, sometimes you may be seeing there is a little bit of different way of approach taken by the Scrum Master, because ultimately we are human being, right? So even if we are saying that we should remain unbiased, sometimes you may become biased, right? So to some people, that those who have done good in the sprint, and some people who could not deliver fast. I mean, people, even if we are not directly calling it as a kind of blame game, but we have our voice quality changes whenever we are talking to this person. Like I fully agree with Pritam what he said, that sometimes like it will guide you, it can give you a personal anecdote or something, that you spoke nicely to these people, but you did not speak nicely. You seem to be a little biased towards these people, and you are kind of right, a little bit more critical or right on to those people. So they can give you a friendly advice that whenever you are going to conduct a retrospective as a Scrum Master, you should be unbiased, right? And generic for everyone, right? If you should not, that should not be kind of reflecting in your voice or something like that.
Thank you, Pritam. Yep.
Yeah. Great. Any other question? Anyone? Fantastic. Thank you so much, Navarun, for this insightful discussion. And I'm sure like we are going to have a lot more in coming days. So finally, a parting thought. So as we accelerate into our AI-driven future, the agility and AI will remain together like our compass. But mindful reflection will be our anchor, right? It reminds us that the speed without self-awareness is motion without a meaning. So it's not only that mindful reflection and AI are mutually exclusive, rather, they are going to coexist and they are going to complement each other in the coming days. Thank you so much, everyone, for your things, and let's stay tuned for the future sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we have
Happy Diwali to everyone.
can we have a ritual of a group picture before?
Oh,
logging off?
yes, of course. Gallery view. Yeah.
Dola,
So
if you are there.
Dola and Meenakshi, if possible, if you can just come on camera. Oh, you're traveling.
Oh, okay.
Dola, if you can come on camera.
Sunday Bazaar.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. You can just take this picture. Right? I think Dola is having some issue. Done, Pritam?
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.